Grayskull. Peace and blessings, health and wealth to the blend masters, the gods of audio alchemy.
Good to meet you, man. How you doing?
Good
Indeed, man.
Good.
Blessed, bro. I'm absolutely splendid.
Hey, man, we really appreciate the vocal clips you've been giving us, bro. That means a whole lot to us, man.
Oh, man.
So we got a chance to do one.
Hey, man, it is my honor. It is my privilege. It's my privilege. Anything that I can provide, it's yours. It is that. I'm a tool at your disposal.
Oh, peace.
I'm just the sword. You are the senseis. And I'm a person that I like layered. I like masterpieces. I like stuff that, you know, every time you listen to it, you discover something new. I like subliminals, double and triple entendres, and I mean true works of art. You know, Picasso's of sound. Something that, you know, something that could give you a revelation if you really study it further and further. And then you got songs that are just the most simple that just resonate. And I can't figure it out, but I'd rather, if I ever were to be that kind of individual where I'm going to resonate with people, I at least want it to be something that resonates, that would be useful, that would be to as opposed to it being nonsensical and silly. I want it to be something that would progress our people forward, you know. And if I can do that, I'm realizing that words contain power. And I've been thinking about a lot of esoterics and whatnot. And I'm thinking about how, you know, Black Lives Matter, their key phrases was, one of the key phrases was, I can't breathe, right? And then shortly after that, we got the coronavirus, where people are dying, being incapable of breathing because of blood clots in their lungs and things of that nature. You know, I've seen people, we used to say when folks, you know, disagreed with a point of view that you had, they would say something like, bro, kill yourself. And now we got suicide in the Black community like we've never seen in our entire lives. Like, we Black people didn't commit suicide. You know, I remember one time when the first time I ever felt suicidal, and forgive me for this for the story.
This is form and stuff like that.
Nah, that's what we're here for, man.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I literally, I just felt suicidal I just was entertaining the idea. And then I looked down at my third leg and say, oh no, I got too much to look forward to. Like, no, like, hell no. That would be, no. And snapped right out of it. And I was like, yeah, Blackness confirmed. All right. So, and that's, we weren't known for suicide. We could get that from the police. So now,
actually, that though, on that point, though, that's actually a stigma. I think it's now becoming more prevalent because we have the internet and we have media sources. But I mean, I've got an uncle who committed suicide. I have an ex who had an aunt and an uncle who committed suicide. It's prevalent in the community. It's just hushed. Yeah. You're not allowed to talk about those feelings in the community too. I think it's one of those things. But right. I didn't cut you. That was near and dear to me. That's why I mentioned it.
I understand. Respect. Yeah. But I do believe that words contain power. You got
absolutely.
I know a guy who said that he was a badass all the time. Like, I'm a badass, and then, you know, he ended up catching colon cancer. It's like, well, that technically is a badass if you think about it. I find that a lot of words that we're uttering ends up bringing about the essence of what we're saying. And so if we're constantly repeating it, if we're constantly making it a part of our vernacular, it has an effect. and a major one at that. They're very real. You know, people are, you know, saying I'll put that on my mama and be lying about it, and then lose their mama. I just, it's like, okay, well, our words contain power. So
Absolutely.
if we have the opportunity, if we have the opportunity, let's assemble some words that are going to propel us to the next level. If we can heal, let's heal. If we need to go to war with the true enemy, then let's put words together that assembles that. If we need to be better fathers, if we need to be better husbands, if we need to be better men, then let's assemble the words that will create it and put some real sound to it that will resonate in the soul of what we are, and make it essentially a chant, something that will make a strong impact. I mean, the music is what draws them in. The music is what gains the attention. It's what connects us with relatability of, you know, who we are, and creates an energy. And so I feel that our music has been hijacked to push us in a certain direction away from a goal that would progress us from being a minority to being the majority, which is where we belong. But it's just the meanderings of a man who's just wants better for the world.
Now, would it be the words versus the energy behind the words? Like, like speaking things into existence. You know, we can say it, but you can also, you can say it, but the work is to do the legwork toward it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I want a Benz, and I'm not expecting it to happen, but I have to work toward getting that Benz.
Well, I don't. What I would say is that the words puts you in a mind frame that, for example, if you're a pessimist, you don't see opportunity anywhere, because in the end you think that it's all going to fail, that everything is nothing. Thus, you have nothing. However, opportunity is literally is all over the place if you have the mind's eye to see it. No matter where you are, you've got folks that are, you know, in prison, and they're in prison forever, and they have no hope ever coming out. But that doesn't mean an opportunity isn't there for them to grow as a person, to the point that the works that they do, even within the confines of imprisonment, can't reach beyond the walls and touch people's souls from outside. Think of Nelson Mandela, who, despite his circumstances, the opportunity to reach the people from within the confines of prison were heard, and touched a lot of people around the world. So I believe that music puts you in a particular zone. It moves, it gives you the energy to move. And then the words give you the directive of what to move towards. So if you're listening to, you haven't been focusing on anything in particular lately, and then you hear a song that's like, get money, you're like, yeah, get money. And then you start seeing opportunities that you had totally ignored. You know, a guy owned a business, but he was looking for help, looking for a partner, but that wasn't even a thought in your mind. There's the in your apartment building, they're looking for, a super, to help with the yard and make some money. And then it turns out they got multiple buildings. And You took care of this building. Now he wants you to take care of this one and this one and this one. And before you know it, you're like, man, I need help. Like I'm burning out. I need assistance. And he's like, well, why don't you start a company and get some guys going? And then that grows and expands and expands. And it all came from the music giving you the energy to do something. And if you got nothing else to do, you can just dance, but you're doing something. And then you've got the words that give you the energy to do something, and it gives you the directive to do so. And I mean, monks do this all the time. They do chanting, they do all types of things. They resonate. They resonate at a certain frequency. And that's all music is. Even if you look at the MP3s that we save and the lossless files, the lane files, all these different formats, they're recorded according to a frequency. 440, I think it's 440 hertz or something like that. 440, I can't remember exactly. So apparently that's by choice. That frequency was chosen for a reason. I've been looking at frequency lately, because apparently certain frequencies have healing effects, while certain frequencies have agitating and more aggressive effects. Just the frequency being played by itself. Turns out that way back, in like World War I or II, I can't remember exactly which one, that Italy was looking at how the war was going with Hitler versus the rest of the world, and Italy was a farm country, farming. None of them guys was gangster out there. These were farmers. In fact, Lamborghini himself made tractor engines and made a suggestion to Ferrari, hey, I bet you could make your car a lot faster, more efficient if you did this to your engine. And the guy was like, who are you? You're a tractor maker. Fuck out of here. And so the guy was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own car. He made a Lamborghini that, completely changed the game. But anyway, the point is that these were farmers. But Mussolini, who was the president of Italy, decided that he wanted to prove to Hitler that he could turn his men into soldiers. So music had a standardization at the time. It had an international standardization that if you press, when you go to these various opera houses and various concert halls and whatnot, that if you pressed the C note in France, it was the same C note when you go to Britain or America, that there was a standardization of sound. So it didn't sound up high over here and down low over there. Everything was tuned to a frequency. Italy decided right around that time that they wanted to make their Italian men more masculine and aggressive and ready for war, and in order to impress Nazi Germany, because they felt that Hitler had a chance of winning. So they wanted to get in on that action. They felt that they were going to be the clear winners. So they took the standardization of music and set a thing at 440 hertz, which is a frequency that is an aggressive sound. It's more of an invigorating frequency that makes people aggressive. It makes people get up and do stuff, versus a more harmonic sound, which is actually 432. Turns out all of this stuff is, this is not mainstream knowledge, but if you study like frequency in music. There was even a guy who was able to cure cancer by using ultrasound at a certain frequency. He would take an ultrasonic machine and put ultrasonic sound, and the cancer cells couldn't maintain their cellular structure and would basically dissolve. Unfortunately, he mysteriously died, and his machines still exist, but they can only be used for veterinary purposes.
Wow.
Wow, really?
So
Like you give me a nice little laundry list of research items tonight, man. I love this. that note right there is blowing my mind right now. I'm like ready to go on a dig immediately. I'm trying to keep myself off of Google right now. That's fire. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. I realized that we gotta, when we speak words, we should speak with intention, not to just utter them, just throw them out there. That you can treat words like a meal, and you prepare a meal before those that are listening. You know, you can arrange words in different ways, your voice, your modulation of your voice, and the intention of why you're even speaking can be subconsciously held up here. So in my mind, I want to see the world become a better place. So when I'm speaking, my intention is that when I speak, I want anybody who's listening to at least be better in some form, whether it be their energy, whether it be them feel more calm, or whether they feel, or whether they learn something, or whether they are just in a simple, better mood. My goal is, I subconsciously have that intention to make things better, because I've used my words and made things hella worse, made mistakes and made a mess of things. And I realized words got power. And I'm like, I've got a family now. I don't need no more destruction. I don't need no more drama. I don't need no more bullshit. I don't need more suffering. Nothing hurts worse than to see the smile of my children begin to melt because the words I'm uttering from them are tearing them apart internally. I don't want that. I'm a dad now. I am a creator, and those being a part of my creation, inspired by God, of course. Who am I to destroy what I've created when I could be building them up? And then when they go out into the world, I'm not bringing shame and destruction and a world of agonizing, whatever negativity, whatever energy. I want my legacy to be one where the world was a little brighter, just simply because I was there. So I'm willing to study deeply how things work and how it works, how it's done. I listened to you guys discuss how you guys took sound and things just resonated with you. It started with a simple, man, that sounds good. I like that. And then a lot of you came to the same conclusion. And then I take it like I was telling T-Bear right there. I was telling him I liken music sometimes to enjoying a drink. When we first started drinking, we were drinking out of solo cups, just trying to get fucked up, But then there were those of us that, we didn't care about. We just wanted the cheapest thing that were gonna get us smashed, And
let's go.
Right.
It didn't matter what the cup was. It didn't matter what the ingredients was. It just was something cheap. But then over time, I met somebody who was around my age who was like, "Oh man, you don't just drink anything. You drink. Right. You want to drink what's good for you. That won't give you a headache in the morning. And the reason being is those are ingredients that are in there. Like those, there's something to drink and something to drink, and you want to drink something that is going to be an experience as opposed to you just losing yourself and causing problems in your body. So then he started telling me, you know, you don't drink out of this, you don't drink out of a glass, drink pour, you know, when you drink in the Solo cup, you smelling the plastic of the Solo. That's what you like. If you've got a proper drink that with real proper ingredients, you want to smell everything. Like if you cut your nose, if you block up, you catch a cold, you can't taste anything. So your nose is just as much of a part of the flavor that you're tasting as your tongue is. So when you drink a glass, that glass is a part of your experience when you're drinking something. You're enjoying the taste, the flavor, and then of course the effects, all of that. So you would get these glasses where even your visuals, where you're enjoying this glass where it's got all those little diamond cuts on them and different things. And so you're seeing, you know, a spectacle, as well as seeing the color of your drink, the smell of your drink, the effects of your drink, everything. Like it's a whole entire experience, as opposed to, man, we just getting smashed and you know, this is I look at music like that. It's an experience. Wow. How you prepare it. You know what the choice of your bass line, your hats. You know you can't put you're not just gonna slap Sesame Street with with Luke and make a sound unless you tweak it properly and you.
Okay,
you know,
right.
Hold on, I gotta write that down.
I'm
right,
just
that's
saying.
not a bad idea, right?
Right,
Hey,
Sesame Street with Luke, that might work.
Yeah,
Oh.
right, for sure. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, damn.
And the thing is that because you guys are masters of sound, you guys are masters of what resonates. It knew what would be a dull, blunt instrument in the hand of a fool would be a weapon of mass destruction in the hands of a master. Who knows? Is like, yeah, of course it wouldn't work that way. However, if you prepare it this way, and then you shift that over here, change the BPM here, add a couple of hats here, now you have this, which is like blows the entire mind of anybody it blows everybody's expectations. You turn can'ts into cans.
I need y'all to understand, I used to work with this dude. So this was every day.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. Okay.
Y'all getting a treat. This was every day.
Okay. All right.
Before we got kicked out of the garage and almost got murdered and shot to our deaths, but that's another story.
Wow, that's a hell of a job. Okay, what y'all?
Yeah, I mean that's the job I don't want. I know that's
right.
We installed cable.
Bro.
Oh.
And did it on the west side of Chicago, did it in O Block, did it in I literally I did a repair. I was doing a repair. And for an apartment, it was a 3-flat building. I opened the lady opened the door, put a gun in my face. And I'm like, and I said to myself, I'm like, this is that bullshit today. Like, this is not even what company policy says that I get out of here right now. And I just put my hands up to let her know that I mean no harm. And I'm facing death, potential death. And I'm saying to myself, well, I mean absolutely no harm. If you do not want your cable, you do not want your internet repaired, no problem. I can go back to my truck and be done with it. And she considered her options, which were either I'm here to harm her or I'm here to help. I'm thinking about this, like, why do I have to face certain death just to give somebody some cable or some internet on a regular basis? We were facing East Nishni, which is the company we work for. I'm not even, you can blur it out if you want.
Don't work and see the devil. I tell people that every day.
Right.
They nickname it the Death Star. Like, but I'm like, I'm wondering, like, they gave us iPads and iPhones and then put us in the poorest neighborhoods where folks were struggling to eat. We running tests on $600 iPads and $1,000 iPhones, running tests for the company right in front of them, and wondering why we getting robbed or getting broken into. I kid you not. And T-Bear remembers this. Yeah. I did a repair for somebody, and when I came back to my truck, they broke in and they left my DeWalt drill, they left my $10,000 tester, they left all of my tools, but they stole my sandwich.
What?
They stole my sandwich.
Get the fuck out of here. Where was you at? Oh my God.
Over at Lawndale.
Every time we got stuck up, we was in motherfucking Lawndale, man.
Holy shit. Oh,
yeah.
Bro, the one thing I had to look forward to every day, my wife would custom make my sandwiches for me because I remember all the ingredients. Caramelized onions, boar's head cheese, boar's head roast beef. Just she had it on Ezekiel bread, which was bread that was without any yeast, so I would be healthy and strong to continue to put up with the bullshit I was facing in the world. And so for it to be stolen from me, like, hurt my whole soul. So when my manager said, okay, give me the list of things that were stolen, and I was like, caramelized onions, boar's head roast beef.
Right. 2 slices of cheese.
Right.
That's wild.
Right.
Yeah.
And she gets a sandwich bag too.
Right. And the thing is, they broke in street side with a barbecue right across the street. There was a family doing a barbecue right across the street, and they broke in street side. So they saw who did it. I asked, of course, nobody knew nothing. So which only irritated me more. But everybody kept telling me, well, man, maybe they were hungry. So they didn't go in to steal no iPad, no iPhone. They were simply hungry and were willing to crack a window for it. And this is what we're being sent into with fancy $1,000 equipment to hook up people's internet and whatnot. Great. And then when we would get robbed at gunpoint, we even had one guy that got robbed at knife point and had his ass beat with a Mystic bottle.
What? Damn.
Yeah.
Cracked him on the back of the head with a Mystic bottle. And for his iPad and his iPhone. And then the managers are trying to put him and trying to suspend him for it because he should have had it in his truck. But how's he going to run his test? He's 18 feet up in the air. He comes down to run his test, and then the guy cracks him over, and another guy's got a knife. That's all they had. They couldn't afford guns. They had to improvise.
And they want to suspend him.
Right.
Yeah, that's why.
Because he didn't have it locked up in his. So, and it was just, the company would do this little dance with us all over the place. But I'm just saying that's what we were facing. And what we were providing was frequency. At the end of the day, it was frequency that we were providing to everybody. Internet is simply a frequency, a channel. It's opening a channel and giving you a signal via a frequency. If you got a good frequency, then you got the best signal. You had a bad frequency, then that was our job to fix it. And that frequency would provide internet, phones, and cable frequency. So right now we're operating on frequency now. Our heartbeat is a frequency. The
Mhm.
stock market is a frequency.
Mhm.
Which the stock market is the heart of business around the world. Foreign exchange is frequency. Is the frequency of the value of one country's currency versus another. Just all of this, what we're doing, everything that we are is frequency. We operate at a natural frequency. That's why when certain beats come in a certain frequency, it's like, yeah, versus something that doesn't sound right is out of a certain harmony. It's out of the it doesn't have something that doesn't have a natural frequency, causes a certain dissonance that it doesn't work with us unless you tune into it and you adapt it. Like certain rock music is dissonant chords and kind of a scattered frequency that folks are somehow, when folks are going through a certain time in their life, they tend to tune in with things that are unnatural because they feel unnatural. They're out of harmony. So they decide to tune in to that which is disharmony.
Okay.
Anyway, I hope I'm not.
No, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, you're not rambling. It makes sense, man.
Yeah.
I think about some of the music I used to listen to that I can't listen to now because of where I'm trying to go, where I am in my head. There's certain music that, for example, one of my favorite groups, if I had a top 5, MOP was my favorite groups.
Oh yeah,
raucous noise.
Right.
Right now, I can't really enjoy them as much at this moment.
Right.
Because where my head is at. So it's interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah. I mean, right. I can't be. I don't want my kids listening to rob that dude, take his chains, stomp him out, and I'm like, no. I listen. I hope one day to be wealthy enough to have fine art in my home, like glass sculptures and stuff. And if I'm playing destructive energy in my home, those expensive pieces of artwork, my kids are going to destroy it, and then it's going to be disharmony in my home of the utmost order, and then and then I'm gonna have to MOP my kids,
Right.
But yeah, I understand as we get older, we start getting more tactical because we have goals. We have a particular, we're trying to reach a certain place in our lives. So we start thinking deeply about, is this particular item, is this particular service, is this particular product going to take me closer to where I'm trying to reach in my life or pull me further away? And as you get older and you become more cognizant of everything, materials, just your entire world, is it taking me closer or pulling me further? Like if you look behind T-Bear right now, if you look at what he's surrounded himself with, is it pulling him further towards his goals or pulling him, is it bringing him closer, or is it bringing him further to his goals for music? Just by looking at his environment.
I can definitely see his closer.
He's in it, yeah. He's in it,
yeah. He literally physically changed his environment to bring him closer towards his goals. And I'm saying this because I work with him. I've known him for a while, and I thinking about that, and I'm thinking about the gentleman like you and Rashid, if I may speak. I look at your environment. Bringing you closer towards music, or is it pulling you further away from your goals and things of that nature? Brother Dragon Pitchfork, I see in your world, I see something that's bringing you closer towards harmony, that's bringing you closer towards things of that nature. I'm seeing I don't, this is not magic or anything. You can just look at what you got, brother Damon, I apologize, brother.
It works both ways.
I see headphones and electronics, tools and devices that are going to connect you to what you're trying to resonate with.
That's
and
right.
and all of us now, I'm in a situation right now. I am in a transitional period. But the point,
The brother's in witness protection program. He just don't want to tell y'all. But he in the middle of bumfuck Indiana. He in witness protection right now.
Right.
There ain't but 4 black people in the whole town.
Right.
And 3 of them live in his house.
Man, it ain't far from the truth either. It ain't far from the truth.
Right.
Listen, the
Low,
Amish come to Kroger over here. Like they pay you $100 to pick them up from their farm and take you to the grocery store. Take them to the grocery store because they're not allowed to drive vehicles. They'll pay you $3,000 to $4,000 to drive them to Florida and back, so that they can go see family. That's how rural it is out here. But I'm trying to.
Are they off the frequency? Yeah.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. If you're a farmer, you're in tune with nature.
Mm-hmm.
You're more in tune with the environment. You are part of the environment, and you are manipulating the environment. And you're manipulating that environment for a result to provide something to the world, to people. Because right now, I think the specialty out here is corn and soy, which I'm not really a fan of, because of the effects, some of the effects of those things. But they're being paid to manipulate their environment to produce fruit. And which is one thing that I felt about our people we need to work on, is that I feel as a people that if we're given seeds, that we're so starving that we'll eat the seeds instead of eating the fruit that's produced from the seeds. I look at, the reason I'm out here is because I want to get back to the source of providing for family. I want to own land one day and plant trees so that if the apocalypse happens and everything with every supply chain that's lost in all over America, decides to break down and say, listen, you can't eat nothing unless you take this or have that or have this card or whatever. I can feed I'm like, listen, we got food right here. Here you go. I've got an apple tree over here. I've got a mango tree over here, and it's going to continue to feed my family over and over again, generation after generation, until one day my grandkids say, you know what, I'm tired of living out here. I want to go into the inner city and try this thing all over again. You go back to the meat grinder and get robbed for iPads or whatever. But the point I'm making is that I'm realizing that we should get back to the source of where we came from, of can we be providers for the next generation? Can we produce something? Can we create something that they can live off of? Can I, if I don't like something, I'm able to change it. I don't want that tree there no more, chop it down. I'm planting something else. I've been growing this particular vegetable. I want I want to grow spinach now. I want to grow beans. I want to grow this and that. I can change and manipulate my environment at will for the reason of taking care of my family, giving them. I don't have to question what did they put in it. Is there GMOs? No, because I sourced the seeds. I picked and chose. I'm preparing my meal all the way back to the source. I'm the planter. I decide if I want to put Miracle Grow on there, if I want to go all natural and use natural elements that are going to take care, they're going to be healthy for my kids. I won't have to come back 10 years from now and hear a commercial about, did you try that product 10 years ago that we said was perfectly fine and doctor approved, and you qualify, if you did, you qualify for a lawsuit. Well, no.
Right.
What? We've been using Roundup forever. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, Roundup causes cancer and melanoma. Like, Roundup?
The sad part is some people are happy to hear that. What? That's a lawsuit. That's money, boy. That's the sad part.
Listen, all that lawsuit is gonna go right back to the doctor.
Indeed it is.
So
indeed it is.
Lawyer and the doctor. Yep.
Yeah. I figure here's one thing, and T-Bear might have noticed this too, but when we would go to different people's homes, we saw people of all types of ages and all types of medical conditions. Sometimes you would see old people that were in better shape than we are, could have run circles around us. They're completely fit and 80, 100 years old and living great. And they're like, hey, I just need the internet. And then before you know it, I'm going to get outside and jog. But what? And then you've got people who are just 50 years old and tied to a bed. I got in trouble one time because I went to this lady's house and she was almost bedridden and she had diapers, used diapers all over the house, roaches everywhere. I picked up her modem because her modem was malfunctioning and roaches coming out of it. I'm like, yeah, ma'am, you're going to have to send that to AT&T, but I'll get you another one. Hooked it up and got out of there and got in trouble because I didn't take the modem back. And I'm like, I don't want roaches in my truck. I'm going to have to deal with that. I don't want that energy.
Right.
I want no part of this. But, and I'm just saying that a lot of times the difference between how somebody lived in their golden years or their older years was determined by what was in their refrigerator.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd see folks who ate vegetables and fruits, and prepared fresh. Like instead of buying, garlic powder or thyme or all the different seasonings. Again, I'm still back to ingredients. They would bring out the actual plants of herbs and then dice them up.
Nice. Yeah.
Pluck. They peel the garlic. The thyme, the mint, the whatever, oregano, whatever it was. They'd be chopping it up as opposed to taking this dry thing from McCormick's or wherever you were getting it from. They were going fresh. So what's it doing to their body? Their body is getting fresh. You are what you eat, right? That's what my mom told me. So if I'm putting fresh in my body, I become fresher. If I put dead and dried up in my body, I become dead and dried up. So same thing with music. Same thing with music. If I put dead, old, dried up music, that's what I become. That's my energy. That's who I am. That's the persona I take on. If I put fresh, energetic, you got music that that wakes up old folks right up out the chair. They can't stop. Even in church. You got the you go to a Catholic church, it'll be old, dry, and dusty. No disrespect, of course.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
No, but yeah. I was gonna say that about church. The frequency of the Holy Ghost is what I was gonna ask you about. But not ask you about, but say it about.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are what you consume. Whatever you are whatever you consume. See,
this is why I like consuming. So to build on what you're saying, how much credit do we owe Hitler? That's tough, ain't it? That's very tough. Because you talk about the frequency, you talk about television, you talk about machinery, mass production, influence, one accord. How much credit do we owe Hitler? I mean, there's a reason why they had to stop him, so we can use it.
Right.
They say his kids live here.
Possibly.
His grandkids live here. They do.
Quite possibly.
His grandkids live here. Isn't that something? How much do we owe this guy? His birthday is 420. It's some things align that aligns here. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's something weird about this. So you know how they say, "Oh, Santa Claus is real. Santa Claus is not real." How much are they keeping from us? That it seems just so much of a figure. I think that's why the minister Farrakhan is so upset with when they quote unquote upset. He picks out the Jews because he knows it's like saying that's not Santa Claus. He knows. He's trying to get us. He can't say it. It's up to us, like you're saying, to do the knowledge and stuff like that.
Right.
But we have it in our head that he's an evil figure. Oh, don't even say Hitler.
Hi, everyone. How are you, sir, Mr. Devon? Hello, Mr.
Oh,
Steve.
Salute. What's going on?
Yeah, how are you?
What's good?
Sorry to come in so late, Mr. Steve the Voice. Sorry to jump in, Devon. Sorry about that. I just wanted to say thank you for having me in this space. Can I just mention that I respect everyone's voice, but I don't necessarily agree with all of the comments in the space. That I might have some dissidence. I just want to say that. So I respect everyone's voice. I want to just say that I have some. I do have dissonance, and that's what I'm going to say. Yes, but please continue.
That's peace though, man. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like your experiences kind of shape your understanding and your belief. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you. You know what I mean? Like actually, but the mom was just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding with you on the Hitler thing, and I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. Whether I agree or not, you know what I'm saying? It's not disrespectful or to be combative, you know what I'm saying? There's a space for that, you know what I'm saying? And more than anything, hopefully we all come away with at least a different thought. You know what I'm saying? So by all means, I don't want to be around nobody that agrees with me 100% of the time. That's not healthy.
Yeah,
because they're not beliefs. Let's just get that they're not beliefs. I asked the question, like, how much?
It's fair.
Right. I know.
On my word, right. I was like, that's a dope question.
Right. I mean, it's something to ask. Yeah,
it's fair. Like when you started, I'm like, word, I feel you. Still don't agree, but I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But
well, for considering and discussing it at the very least. I mean, we need to hear all perspectives on the table so we can.
Absolutely. Again, that's like. That just woke me up. You know what I'm saying?
Put that notion on the table. You know, Demond didn't sit there thinking off the top like, Hitler's a hero. We know he ain't thinking that.
I'm not saying right.
Bring that perspective right. The table is valuable because now we
that's the speak. Right. That's
real
the
meaning.
Well, I'll almost liken it to the discussion around critical race theory, aka what really happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that a controversial topic, Or do we really not want to expose the ugliness? That's what it boils down to. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to teach white kids the white kids are black. I mean, white kids are bad. We're trying to teach everybody what really happened. You draw your own conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah.
And at least teaching other perspectives, which is really I think the main point is to teach people to consider more than just your own perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether you agree with it or not is fine. Consider something other than what you already know.
I can't make you agree, and my experiences are going to shape my beliefs and thoughts somewhat different than your experiences are going to shape yours. But the ability to dialogue and communicate about that respectfully, I think, has to exist. If it doesn't, then no progress will be made. So I feel you.
Totally.
And then you came in the middle of it. There's a whole lot of backstory. This goes all the way back to Ferrari and Lamborghini and Mussolini.
All right.
Conversation. So yeah, there's a lot that led us to this point.
All right, Mike. There's a lot of things. I'm saying.
A lot of things in context.
Yeah.
It was a lot of things in context. We were talking about frequency, so if I may, I'm just going to go over it real briefly with you. And I was just talking about how music, when you record, MP3s and different audio files that the frequency that you recorded in is commonly known as 440 hertz or 440 megahertz. And so I asked myself, why did we select that? Because there's been an emergence of music that is tuned to different frequencies, which are supposed to be more harmonious to the earth, to the sound of the frequency that the earth resonates at and our human bodies. So 440 is a frequency that is known to be more aggressive, more an irritant, a energetic frequency. And so I looked at where do we decide to start recording with that? So the music, I can't remember. It's like an international symposium of standardization for music. I forget the actual term. I forget the actual organization, but basically they set standards for music around the world way back in the like the World War II and World War I era. Right? So that when you press the C note on a piano in Sydney, Australia, it's the same tone and C note that you would find in Britain, America, France, wherever. It's so that when you hear Beethoven, it's the same Beethoven around the world. There is no high-pitched version here and a low-pitched version somewhere else. So they set an audio standard, and that audio standard for the instrumentation being tuned to 440 was set by the suggestion of Italy. And at the time, Italy was trying to impress Hitler, who looked like he was going to win the war, and they wanted to reap the benefits of, once Hitler won the war, that they would gain
be on the winning team. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is that Italy was basically a land of farmers. These guys were not soldiers, they weren't warriors or anything like that. And so we mentioned earlier about how even Lamborghini was a tractor maker. He was a tractor maker who made tractor vehicles and engines and whatnot. And so he came to Ferrari and said one day, hey, I have a suggestion for your Ferrari engines, that if you made this modification, that it would run more efficiently and faster and blah, 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 blah. And Ferrari looked at him and said, who are you? You're a tractor maker. Fuck out of here. And so then Lamborghini, to prove Ferrari wrong, peace and blessings to Mr. Glover, my man. He essentially said, to prove Ferrari wrong, he built Lamborghini race car that literally blew the doors off of Ferrari at the time. And so the thing is, but the point I was making there was that Italy was a land of farmers. So them joining the war was a bit of a stretch. So the president of Italy, Mussolini, decided to put his people through an entire program to make their men more masculine, more manly, more aggressive, more warrior-like. So he changed the tune of the music. He suggested to the to the international symposium that the music should be tuned here because it'll make people more aggressive and more ready for war, and be ready to do that. So so the thing is that you know what Damon was saying earlier about, you know, how much do we owe Hitler in terms of changing and sort of changing the world and how we listen to things, how our music became more energetic, more aggressive. How much do we owe Hitler for that? How much do we owe Hitler for changing the landscape of sound, you know, around the world? So that's what he was referring to. Right. Within that context. I mean, I know that the swastika was not originally German. It was a good luck symbol used, I can't remember if it was in Samaria or whatnot, but it was a symbol that was basically an empowering symbol of good luck. And so he took that and applied it to his entire persona and for the entire country. So the symbol itself is not evil. It's just that it was used for what is perceived to be evil. But it was a symbol that was designed to be both protective, good luck, and things of that nature. But it's the swastika, you know, but we look at it as evil. So I believe it was Socrates who said one time that I can entertain two opposing points of view, and still, at the sign of intelligence, is able to entertain two opposing points of view without necessarily giving myself to either one. That is the sign of intelligence. To be able to ponder opposing ideas, contemplate them without necessarily saying, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe in. To simply entertain these ideas and pontificate and mull them over and consider them and consider these ideas and figure out different scenarios to go in to kind of come up with, you know, your worldview. So in the end, he wasn't necessarily worshiping Hitler in any particular way, but within the context of Hitler's effects on a music scale or audio scale, he was showing that Hitler had significant relevance there.
Yeah, on the telecommunication part of it, the TV and the radio. Yeah,
right.
Not that it's I can laugh, you know, but that's the whole stigma behind Hitler. That's what makes it so creepy and stuff like that. But the telecommunicating part of it, the TV and radio, and then you had the war, and then after the war, we brought it over here. Then we got black and white TV, we got color TV, we got radio. Boom, 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 boom. iPhone to today. That's what he's talking about. So,
right.
There you go. Now, what you got to say about that?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Well, I would say that I understand for sure the narrative within context, and I think that the narratives within context are important and powerful because we get to understand where people are coming from. Like you said, whether you agree or disagree, it's all about listening, right? We can't communicate if we don't understand where people are coming from. Listen, understand where people are coming from, and if you're coming from a place of growth and sustainability, you can build upon that and create a conversation, and then add to the conversation and also articulate your own ideas. I think also important is the idea of permanence, and the idea of permanence is very, very important, and the idea of how context can be the agency, how context can be adapted.
Okay.
I like the idea. Context can be a vehicle implies.
I was going to say house.
It implies intentionality. So what I wanted to say, I want intentionality like an extra level, but I want to say the agency behind it, like the people's trying to do what they want to do. So what I want to say is just basically that nowadays people can take a small piece of something, make that a clip, decontextualize it, put it in a completely different space, and then take your words to make it mean something else. And then and then in these days, all someone needs to do is to take one piece of what you're saying, decontextualize it, put it in another space, get that whole rhythm on it, and people are like, did you see what that says? He said blah blah blah. She said something like that, and then that's another aspect of the dialogue that you have to then navigate afterwards. Does that make any sense? What I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yes. The ability to people to decontextualize what we're saying, and also to make it a vehicle for somebody else's agenda, is a very powerful tool, a very powerful methodology, so to speak, that it might be very useful to be aware of. And then I guess when I jumped in, I'm always being aware of that, right? I'm always aware of that. Like even now, me being in this space, I'm part of this narrative. I'm part of this context. I'm a educator, so I'm part of that. I either gotta like ride with it, embrace it, and add to my narrative and be clear about where I'm coming from, and then navigate the spaces that I then have to be in later on as best I can. And that's what I choose to do. So I choose to be in the space, to embrace the conversation and the dialogue, and then navigate the other spaces that I have to, that I am as best I can. So what I can do is just try to, add my 2 cents, understand, some perhaps, other ways of looking at the situation, and then, let everything continue to build and to grow from there. Add to our understanding of knowledge itself and others.
How about that? Yes, sir.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, you being on a call like this, everybody is kind of held to whatever's said by anybody's words, unless you speak up to make your point. I think timing is just the key here. Just kind of letting everybody. I have a problem with interrupting people. All y'all know that, I'm sure. I'm working on that. We gotta give people a chance to finish, get their thoughts out, and then make sure we add ours in that on the tail end of that. Kind of add that perspective in there.
Kareem Muse with One to Dial. Yo, Dragon's Pitchfork. Yeah. Back in the day, today, it's all the same. Originality, tag a train, get fame, spit flame. My partner's name, Godzilla. I be a hard to kill killer. In a group form, in ciphers all night long. Now they only cipher at BET Awards. The show I heard about. I get bored and freestyle. Me and my man be the one to dial. Before smartphones, I was attacking clones. If it was known, it was known. No hashtags, but skills you had to have. Or good energy. The rules don't change. We something like referees.
In black and white zebra stripes like wow. Control the game and blow the whistle on anything that's foul. My style is borderline pristine. It's like magic, how I'm worthy of showtime when I rhyme with Kareem. Oh yeah. I'm from the days of word is bond, when the kid had the more than ad-lib to get on. Emit devilish flame every time I perform, and keep a dragon's pitchfork inside a black Yukon. Most will miss that, I ain't got time to explain. Suffice to say, what I say is worthy of praise. Digest that, 2 things I am, sick and black. Charge a handle, pull back, keep him in line like a click track. Mumble a trap to choose which evil is less as a stressor. The doc said it's bad for my blood pressure, so I stick to hip-hop and concoct something fresh as new linen, but smooth as single malt butterscotch. Yo, it's way too easy. way too easy.
Last night, I swore I saw the devil in the living room.
Barbecue chicken wings and shiny cars, rims spinning, half-dressed women, the world is ours. Yeah. Stay on my grind, East 99. More thugs, camouflage drugs with turpentine. 4th of July, how many times will bottle rockets pop off, taking another life? Temperatures hot as McDonald's fries, sporting tank tops and flip-flops. Guess who trending on TikTok? Backyard birthday parties and kids running around trying to do the new dance to the sounds. Project life, living like good times. My people all over the world, we celebrate. Clementine lemonade in the shade, playing spades with a stocking cap, trying to grow me some waves. We all get involved, this casting dogs, bumping Biggie Smalls, round of applause. We did it all in the. We came up together, tougher than leather. Used to run with DMC, try to keep the family together. Mama came home late from her workspace, try to hook us up with a hot plate, couple cube steaks. Pop was a Rolling Stone, pocket full of stones. Cop patrol the city, we roam, we made it home in a.
Let it be known. Hey yo, the boy D-Mon just gave you a photogenic view of summertime in the shot. Summertime in the city of wind. Real spitters. Hey yo, we got T-Bay on the cuts. I go by Tobias Black, aka Tobias the Gallant. Real rhymer. Boom bap is alive and well. Understand. GRYSKLL.